Hey guys, it's Congressman Mike Garcia from California's 27th Congressional District. I wanted to create a short video on something that I was able to accomplish this week that frankly is something I've been trying to do since I've been in Congress, and it's actually historical in nature, and that's giving a significant pay raise to our junior enlisted troops across the DoD. I've got a couple charts that are going to explain exactly what we did, but I want to start by putting things in perspective. I don't think the average American realizes that when you enlist in the military, whether it's the Navy, the Army, Marine Corps, you start off making roughly $22,000 a year. And that equates to roughly half of what a fast food worker in California would make, for instance. And so this is part of the problem. We have record low retention, record low recruitment right now. There's a lot of things feeding into that, but the fact that a third of our troops, when they enlist in the military, qualify for food stamps on day one is a huge problem. So I wrote a bill, and as a member of the Defense Subcommittee within Appropriations, we were able to successfully get this passed through the Appropriations Committee yesterday. And what this bill does is basically takes about a 35% increase to our junior enlisted pay. And I'll walk you through what that looks like here in a second. But we basically get us from $22,000 a year for an E1, which is someone who first comes into the military, and we get them to $31,200 a year. It's still not high enough, in my opinion. We need to do better, but this will be the baseline that we add another 5.2% pay raise to as a result of this year's National Defense Authorization Act. So the numbers will continue to go up. So very historical. And what I did was I actually went through the pay tables myself, and anyone who's in the military knows what this pay table looks like. But this is the pay table before I got my fingers on it. And you can see that if you're an E1, when you first come in, if you've been in service for less than 2 years, you would be making $1,900 a month, and that equates to roughly $23,000 a year. There's actually a lower tax bracket, pay bracket below this that we don't show. But once you've been in for 4 months, you're making $1,900 a month. After taxes, that's about $1,500 a month, and you can imagine trying to make ends meet with that. And it's not until you are an E5, so this in the Army would be a sergeant, in the Navy this would be a second-class petty officer with more than 6 years of service, that you're making $3,400 a month, which is roughly $41,000 a year. So still not a lot of money, especially if you're based in states like California, New Jersey, Virginia. That's hard to make ends meet as well. So this is the current state of affairs when it comes to our base pay for our junior enlisted, so E5 and below with less than 8 years in this case. Well, what I did was I actually myself went through these pay tables and changed the numbers. And what we see here is that an E1 with more than the 4 months of service is now at $2,600 a month. And that equates to roughly $31,000 a year. So this is still, in my opinion, less than what our troops deserve, but this is effectively a 36% increase over what the current base pay is. We'll put another 5.2% on top of this within the NDAA bill that gets passed this year. And you can see by the time we get back up to this E5 rank, sergeant, second class petty officer, you're basically landing at the same spot that the old table did. So we raised the floor for the junior enlisted, we compressed the pay tables a little bit, and this hopefully helps get the vast majority of our junior enlisted troops above the poverty line to where they don't have to use food stamps in order to feed their families and make ends meet. So there's more to do. This is phase 2. If you recall, we were able to get the Military Spouse Licensing Relief Act that I brought to the floor last year, signed into law by President Biden back in January. This allows our spouses to have professional licenses recognized across state lines. So if they're a real estate agent, a nurse, a teacher, they don't have to re-qualify and get re-credentialed in a new state when they get orders. That's a huge game changer for military families. That is the professional dual income fix. This is the biggest fix that our country has ever seen in terms of base pay for our enlisted troops. We're going to keep fighting. My ask is that you share this with folks who are friends and family members who are serving in our country, especially that fall into these ranks, E1 through E5. The junior enlisted, they're the backbone of our military forces. They're out there doing God's work, and right now they're working longer than 40 hours a week. and making less than what a fast food worker would make for that same 40 hours of work, and that's not acceptable. So please let them know we're working this. This should be signed into law hopefully before the end of this year, and but we do need all the support that we can get. Contact your local congressman, your senators, ask them to support the Garcia pay raise within the DoD budget, and we'll be pushing as hard as we can from our end. And I am hopeful we're going to get this done. I'm very proud of the team that's done it this day. We have got a lot more to do, and you've got my commitment that we're going to do that. So God bless our troops. And as always, if you need anything, reach out to our office, and we'll be here to help.